Yes. Do not adjust your sets. It's Rusty B doing a live show Wednesday night live. We've got Budgie and Kieran coming on at 10 o'clock. So I thought I'd come on and talk about, I don't know, maybe talk about Callum Wilson. The reports are that West Ham, that he has agreed personal terms with West Ham, a heavily incentivized deal with minimal wage. It's not minimal, but a lower wage, but basically on the proviso that appearances, a man who only has played, I think it's like 29-30% of Newcastle's games he could be possibly available for. I mean, we've got some stats here. I mean, he's scored 141 goals in 392 games, 33 years old. I think you're going to be looking around 70 grand a week, maybe. Yes, cheaper than Antonio, but I'm thinking of everything else that's gone around. I still think it's a bit weird, and we know one of the reasons why it's probably happening in terms of the agent, and apparently the agent is pushing for a 2-year deal, unsurprisingly. I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's get some people on and have some chats. If it's true, it shows West Ham just don't learn. Now, if we look at the timeline, let's look at the timeline. So, a couple of days ago, and I think I spoke about this a little bit yesterday. A couple of days ago, it was believed that Potter wasn't going to allocate any of the budget to bringing a forward in. Okay. Yep, fair enough. And there was a bit of outcry. I was like, well, okay, to be honest, we do need to strengthen. I think Gio did a really good video on it this morning as well. But it's a sort of similar line saying, at the end of the day, with he didn't want a forward. It wasn't a priority. And then this has all happened. I mean, you know me, I love a conspiracy theory. If anything, I think, as we said in our little group, our group WhatsApp chat, it's strengthened people's view of Potter. I think, in all honesty, because if he's being thrusted these players on him, it don't look good. Now, there's a man. I don't know. I think he used to do something on the channel. Let's bring him in. There he is. Hey, let me put my headphones on. I dust them off.
Oi, Samurai.
How you doing, mate? You right?
Not bad.
Not bad.
Callum Wilson, whoop whoop, as a sound of the bellies, whoop whoop, as a
Oh God, indeed,
indeed.
We just trying to. I just find it. I find the whole thing strange.
Yes, but I know where you may go with it. But I'm not saying you will go with it. There is a difference with potential signing than there is with Brighton signing.
No, I'm not going with that. Not going with that at all. Not going with that at all. I think it's a bit different.
So
yes, you keep dropping in and out, mate. Just let you know.
I do. I know. Just wanted to attempt to come on. As you can see behind me, that's a bed. Am I still dropping in and out?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Just go on your phone, mate. It's easy just to go on your phone, I think, to be honest. Anyway, come back. We'll let him come back. I think what Anton was going to say was in terms of alluding to his past transfers at Brighton, when he did bring in the likes of James Milner, Lallana, and Welbeck. But the trouble with Welbeck is, and he's Welbeck. He bought him when he was 27, 28. For me, if it was along those lines, I think you're probably more likely to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin come in rather than Callum Wilson. And we know why Callum Wilson's probably. I mean, there's a whole list of players. I mean, we spoke about Luka Jovic. We've got who else? We got Carlos Vinicius. We got Ajame. Actually, let's have a look. We've got. There's lots of players, even Ben Yedder. No, Ben Yedder's a bit older. Let's bring Anton back in. There we go. Hi.
I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, everyone's always going to think that I come on the side of positivity. We see that in the chat, don't we, Russ? When everyone says, shit, they thought I was positive until we've got a couple of new members in the chat. And then suddenly they come across positive. I don't want... it's not the signing I want. It's not the signing I think any of us want. But if rumours are the rumours true in terms of it's more of an appearance-based contract?
Yeah, so what we're led to believe is it is and to be honest, I think it was the same contract, or roughly the same contract that we offered Antonio, in that it was a very basic sort of weekly wage, and then on appearances and on performance. So there will imagine be a goal bonus and appearance bonus. From a, it was on the. I think it was on the table with Mikel Antonio, the same deal, and his agent said, "Oh, we've got loads of offers." I think it's a bit bullshit. I haven't seen anyone going for him yet. I don't know why the offer. Well, we know why Callum Wilson's signing for West Ham if he signs for West Ham. I think we know there's a big obvious client there, and actually the agent is actually pushing for a 2-year deal rather than the 1-year deal.
So again, being the kind of devil's advocate to the whole situation, and I'm on the side of going, fuck, why are we signing Callum Wilson? West Ham have been stung so many times, right? We know that. So you don't need us to remind you that we've been stung so many times from signing players like this. However, if we weren't stung so many times, and at the end of the transfer window, West Ham have bought well, and possibly bought another striker who's young, enthusiastic, does it add to a squad that we desperately need that kind of doesn't eat too much of the budget? I'm maybe trying to think a little bit left-sided with it, but here we go. I don't want to sign Callum Wilson, right? I don't. It's not the signing that we all are excited about. And I know there's a clear difference between people like Craig Dawson, but equally we were not enamored by that signing either. But at the end of the window, if we have signed, say, another striker from some country like in Scandinavia, France, Championship, whatever, and we've added more strength and depth in the squad, which we all kind of like, then for me, I might be willing to accept it. But if it's the signing that we were promised and we don't get, and then suddenly we're left with Callum Wilson as the backup to Fulkrug, then of course we're going to sit here and we're going to go, what the fuck are you doing, West Ham? You're always going to have part of the fan base that look at Callum Wilson and think, well, what he's done in his career, what he's done against West Ham, what he's done in his career, he's there or thereabouts. Injuries is going to play a big issue on it. He's 33. I know people. I can't see the chat. I know people are going to be like, "Shut the fuck up, Anton. You don't know what you're talking about." I'm used to it, but I'm just trying to always, when I see a deal like this, try and work out why. And I think, I tell you something now, I wonder if West Ham would be saying why if we'd assigned 3 players, more attacking, flamboyant, younger players before Callum Wilson, then brought Callum Wilson in. Rather than bringing Callum Wilson in now and then signing all the other players after. So for me, this is a deal that I'm okay with. I'll shake your hand, but only if you move forward with.
This is almost rinse and repeat from about a month ago when we were bang on going to sign Josh Brownhill.
Yeah.
And the fan base, and we went, what the fuck? and I think for me, it's a timing issue again, and I totally agree. If this was 31st of August deal, we'd done our business, and this was offered to us, and as you said, it as a cover. Personally, I think it would go on, not go under the radar, but it wouldn't have so much furore behind it and fan disenchantment behind it.
Yeah,
I think it's a timing issue for me. It is a timing issue. If we're led to believed, and again, if you look at the timeline early this week, and again, people have taken it differently, but all the news came out was to say that Potter wasn't prioritising the forward line with the budget. He wanted to prioritise other positions. Totally get that. Makes perfect sense. I agree. The forward line, we can do bits and bobs. If we do get us a free signing as well to give us another body there. Callum Marshall's having a great pre-season. Bowen could play up there. I don't like him play up there. Obviously, Falkrew. Paqueta could play up as a false nine as well. That midfield needed sorted. But the trouble was the narrative got changed so that he didn't want any forwards. That's not what he said. Now, this is, we were led to believe that he didn't want Kyle Walker-Peters. And then Kyle Walker-Peters has got a West Ham shirt now. So whether it's one in, you have one signing, Sullivan has signing, one of us, whether it's that, I don't know. But it's a really, really strange thing because for someone who, if we talk about the senior source utilizes social media to get messages out there. So they will know that he is possibly one of the most hated footballers currently playing football in the Premier League for West Ham. Yeah. No one likes him. No one likes him. So he's not put his fingers in his ear and going, yeah. We know why the likelihood of it's happening because of who the agent is and the relationship that they have together. As you said, the Kyle Walker-Peters thing. Sullivan Jr. was in a lot of the photos. He was seen as potentially an intermediary in that deal as well. Yeah.
Listen, we're not. The thing is, though, Russ, and you're kind of making, notes at the fact that we're all starting to see the Sullivan situation kick in again. To be honest, I don't think it's ever left.
No, it hasn't.
It's just that he's now gone. He's probably going to throw Tim Steiden at us again as West Ham fans. He's going to throw these scenarios to us. We should all know clearly who the main issue is here and who's doing these deals. Again, I suppose if it is Sullivan doing the deal, we would hope that Potter has to sign off or sign on the deal, sign off on the deal. And if he's signing off on the deal, why is he signing off on the deal for a player who is extremely injury prone? And, listen, it looks like this is why we need to get the money out of the club. This is why we need to get money out of the club to line the owner's pockets along with his favoured agent friend. We all know that.
Yeah.
And then coming in is if you play as we pay deal. I just looked there. I think on average he was earning something around about 45k, 46k. I don't know how true that is at Newcastle. I'm assuming there was like appearance goals bonuses.
Yeah, I think he was on about 50 grand a week, something like that.
I think his basic salary was 50 grand a week. Now, if you bring in a Callum Wilson at 50 grand a week, but we sign down the line other players, it could end up being a shrewd piece of business. But then again, it could end up being an absolute disaster. We're definitely on the element of going, it could be a disaster because we've only got bad situations, bad stories, bad examples of this whole situation happening. Very few and far between. Craig Dawson, just to name one, who can prove every single West Ham fan wrong and end up being a cult hero at the club because he did. Not a single person probably seen the benefit of that. And I think that's why I'm so desperately not trying to jump on the bandwagon of going, fucking shit signing. It's a shit signing. It's a shit signing. It's not a signing that I'm enamored by at all. But again, I think I'm basing it on what do we do now over the next. I mean, listen, Russ, my other concern is we're going to States and we're nowhere near where we need to be in a squad. And I like the idea that Potts and young ones are going to be there, but we still need. We all know where we need the legs. And then again, I'm going to throw this one out to everyone. If we go to the States and we start to see Potts play every game and he steps up, and then we see younger players stepping up, and then he's going to have.
You sound like a Dalek, mate. I can't hear you, mate. You sound like a Dalek now. And you just get into a good position. It's getting to a good point. Sorry, everybody. He was sounding a bit like a Dalek. Let me go through. Oh, is he gone? He's gone. He'll come back. Right, let's go for a few of these. He'll be laughing. It's going to get him paid for us and contributing nothing. He's going to score more than Ings. If Potter is in on this, then better. Hope this is kind of a joke. Another Kieran Dyer situation. 2 or 3 days off to go with a short 5 players. I've just joined, not confirmed yet. I mean, again, this is coming from a journalist. It's nothing sort of, but it is sort of, yeah. But again, that journalist isn't the most reliable journalist in the world as well. And we as West Ham fans are taking everything and running with it, to be fair, at the moment. Let's begin now. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Super, Callum. Super,
I
Callum.
to hear you, Will. Can you hear me, Ross?
I can hear you, yeah.
I can't hear you.
Oh, well.
I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you.
What's that?
I can hear you perfectly well. I can hear you perfectly well.
I can hear you now. Sorry, I just had to
you got to plug it. You got to plug it in the other end now.
Yeah. It was plugged in. It just I was hearing you, and then it stopped.
I've ordered you the Wilson 9 shirt. Is that okay? It's coming.
It's not available. It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Oh, that was. I honestly, I just don't know what we're doing. It just shows a real lack of ambition. I was listening earlier when you said, like, if this was happening like on the 31st of August and we had explored every other option for a striker, and it was like, right, okay, we'll do this now, I could kind of understand. I still wouldn't be happy, but I'd kind of understand it. But the fact that we're doing this now, when there's still like 5 weeks left of the transfer window left, it just shows a real lack of ambition. It's kind of like, no, we're not even going to try. We're not even going to look for anything else. If we can just get this still done, and this is what we've got, and it's just ridiculous. And you're right. I mean, there's not many West Ham fans that actually like Callum Wilson. I think a lot of us can say that, yeah, over the years he's, he has proved that he is a goal scorer and he can do it really well. And I don't think anyone's questioning his ability to score goals. They're questioning, has he still got the legs, which I don't think he does, and his injury record, which is absolutely shocking. And given our record with injury-prone strikers, it just makes 0 sense whatsoever. And didn't Sullivan say that he wasn't keen on Jack Grealish because he wasn't the player he was a few years ago? I mean, it just makes you laugh, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the narrative changes when the agent is involved.
Well, of course it does.
Let's be honest. If Jack Grealish was a Salthouse client, he'd probably be in a West Ham shirt by now.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I just don't understand what this like special relationship is like between them. I mean, I don't think we wouldn't even be looking at Callum Wilson if he wasn't a Will Salthouse client. We wouldn't. It's just as simple as that. We wouldn't, and I think that's what's just so frustrating. I mean, the only thing I think I could agree on is if it is a pay-as-you-play deal, only kind of thing. I think that's the only thing that I would say. Right, yeah, that's the right thing, but that's only because we're signing it. If I still don't think we should be.
I think two things. Obviously, I think it's a similar deal than what we offered Mikhail, which he turned down. But similarly, if we're led to believe, Newcastle offered him the same, a play as you pay type deal, and he rejected it. So obviously, our play as you pay deal is more money. It must be, or there's a signing on fee involved, which. It's like when you leave a job, isn't it? If you stay in the same job for 10 years and then somebody comes in the year after, a year ago, they'll probably be more money than you are because they've been there longer. So it's almost like jumping ship to get a bump in pay.
Do you reckon
it's a weird one.
he's just taking it to get one over on his mate Antonio?
No, I reckon he's got one because they've offered him a nice Brucey bonus, and I reckon money wise he's probably going to be on maybe a little bit more than what he was on at Newcastle, if we're led to be believed. And I think there's a nice little payment for the agent, because he will get he will get a fee.
He will
get a fee. So and I think, in all honesty, I think his nose was put out of joint a little bit by this supercomputer approach in terms of Salthouse getting his nose pointed out of joint, and Sullivan's looking after his mate. It's like it's what's always happened. There's been no difference. There's been no break in play. It's always been that. I mean, you go through countless times where a little bit of a weird transfer's happened, and 9 times out of 10, they're a Salthouse affiliated client. It's nothing new. It's nothing that we're surprised of. Really, it happens all the time. And for me, is it one like, as I said, the Kyle Walker-Peters one? Potter didn't want him, and then he got him. It's like, is it okay? You get the one you want, I'll get the one from my mate. You get the one you want, I get the one from my mate. I don't know.
No, I think when it comes to Kyle Walker-Peters, it was more he had other options, and I think there were also. I think the original thought that was coming out, what I heard was when it comes to Kyle Walker-Peters, is that he was happy to come and play backup to Wan-Bissaka, and Graham Potter wasn't keen on getting a player that was just happy to come in and be a backup. He wanted a player to come in and fight for his place, but apparently that stance changed, and that's why Potter was like against it originally, because he didn't. I mean, that's just something I've heard. I don't know how true that is or not. But yeah, maybe there was maybe there was other options that Graham Potter preferred, but they just become unattainable. So we fell back on Walker-Peters. He was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. I still think that's a good signing, Walker-Peters. I still think that is, a decent player to bring in.
Yeah, I think it's one that most of us have said, do you know what? Actually, it's a good squad signing. He can cover multiple pay. He's still a good few years ahead of him. And as I said, with the AFCONs, we need that. We need that. Now, some good point. I mean, Todd made a good point. Yes, obviously pass the medical first. And if Wilson's that fucked, will he pass the medical? Who knows? Is the Wilson deal coming out of the budget? And that's the thing. Is this coming? I mean, is it coming out? Dave, is it funded by Mr. Sullivan? He famously presented Danny Ings, didn't he, as a little present? This could be coming out of not in the budget. We don't know.
Could this be the Antonio budget? What they budgeted for Antonio?
That's exactly what I think it was. I think it was almost going to be someone. It seems a very similar deal, and Antonio was on a lot more money than Callum Wilson was on. Probably twice what Callum Wilson's on when he was at Newcastle. So it seems, I think, a carbon copy of what was on offer to Mikel.
Yeah.
Carbon copy. And Mikel didn't said no, and there we go.
If it wasn't for his injuries, I'd go, okay, fair enough, like as a backup, maybe. But it's those injuries. Like, he's missed nearly 60 games of football for Newcastle over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
which is a ridiculous. I mean, Mikel Antonio nearly died last year and played more minutes than Callum Wilson did in the Premier League last season. You know what I'm saying? It just makes no sense why this is a good deal now. As I say, if it was made right at the end of the window and we'd explored all other options and he was the only thing left on the table, and you kind of go, okay, fine, whatever, not happy about it, but it'll make a little bit more sense. But doing it with 5 weeks left in the window, I think it just shows a lack of ambition, that they've got no ambition to try and sign another striker whatsoever. All I can hope now is that we do bring in some bloody good midfielders.
Mm. Well, I think
he's got to do that now.
I mean, to be honest, I think, as I said, I think the story of Potter saying he didn't want no strikers got blown out of proportion. Literally,
He never said that.
He never said it. He never
No.
said it. All that was said was he was
not a
priority, which actually isn't. It's probably about fourth in our priority of positions.
Yes.
Midfield needs 2 midfielders, I'd say. Then we probably need a goalkeeper, a centre half probably, and then a forward.
Yeah.
And so actually, fair enough, you know. Or maybe you said that because he knew that Sullivan was working on this Wilson deal. And actually, we can part that at the moment. I don't know. It could be, you know, West Ham, they love to do stuff where smoke and mirrors. It wouldn't surprise me, being a West Ham fan, that Antonio signs a deal tomorrow. And this Wilson thing, because it's Wilson's mate, all like blew out, you know, because these things happen with West Ham. We ridiculously do things, or we're going to sign a player, we're going to sign him, and then we go, actually, no, we're going to sign this guy just to sort of put pressure on the selling club to sell us that player. It happens all the time with us. It's like rinse and repeat.
No, they're probably looking at all the comments now where people are saying, "Oh, I'd rather we just offered Antonio a better deal than bring Wilson on." They're looking at that and thinking, "Oh, 1 second." Everyone was saying that don't offer Antonio a new deal. We don't want him. Now we've got the approval for Antonio. We can get Antonio in. And I actually would agree that still would probably be better because, one, you kind of know what you're getting from Antonio, and despite all these injuries are self-inflicted most of the time, rather than his injury problems are more self-inflicted, while Callum's are more because of his body failing him.
Yeah, this is it. They're going to do an emergency podcast tomorrow, and I guarantee they're both going to be in West Ham shirts and have a joint announcement of Wilson and Antonio. Could you imagine it? Oh God, this
while also announcing their new podcast.
Yes, yeah, available on the West Ham YouTube channel.
Yes,
but there's ads every 2 minutes, like the game the other day. Anton sort of suggested I was going to talk about something, and when you look at Potter's or Brighton's MO under Potter, he did bring in Welbeck on a free transfer. Who, if we ignore the last 5 years, if we had signed Danny Welbeck 5 years ago, we would probably have the same fallout now, and we've got with Callum Wilson. But hindsight's changed people's opinions. Wilson, I think with Welbeck, awful injuries, he's done well. He's done well at Brighton. It's been
but at least with the argument, at least with Welbeck, the argument was age was still on his side, fitness was kind of still on his side. Like, he had a lot more going for him than Callum Wilson. He wasn't 33. He wasn't a player that has missed over 50 games over the last 2 seasons.
He probably has. He probably did, actually. I think probably Welbeck probably had just as worse injury record. But do you know what I mean? Hindsight's a wonderful thing, and I think if we'd years ago, we'd have gone all mental like we're doing it now. I'm not saying there's parallels there, because, as you said, he's younger. To be honest, more akin to us getting a Dominic Calvert-Lewin compared to, he's a similar age than when he signed Welbeck. They're both 29, both really bad injuries. I'm surprised that hasn't, but not really, because I don't know who his agent is. It's going to be an interesting one to see what happens next, because it smacks of when we were going to sign Josh Brownhill. And I remember watching all the YouTube channels, all the social media, everyone saying this is fucking ridiculous. We're signing Brown. We didn't actually sign Josh Brownhill. We haven't signed him. And we were led to believe he was signing the next day. You know what I mean? So until the social media post happens, we don't really,
I still haven't seen it from. I mean, it's only been Graham Bailey so far.
It's only been Graham Bailey, yeah. And I think X mentioned it, but the trouble is, it's like people discredit Graham Bailey 99% of the time, but now it's something which they want to agree with now. It's like, well, if he's always shit source of information, why are you picking now? because
Yeah, I mean,
you want to moan up, that's the thing.
yeah, I haven't made a video. I made 2 videos about it yesterday, talking about it and explaining in full detail why I just do not agree that this is a good thing. I'll wait until we know it's like definitely going to happen
Exactly.
before that, stick him in the neck again. But we've got the problem is like it's because we had all this talk last week about like Harvey Elliott and Tyler Moulton, and we were exploring these deals, and then suddenly that's all gone quiet, and it's Callum Wilson's coming in. But if we've still got money problems, that's probably the reason why those deals are delaying at the moment, because we can't seem to sell anyone. We can't sell Alvarez. We can't sell Aguerd. No one's really coming in for Rodriguez or Irving. Paquetá. This whole thing with Paquetá is actually, I think, causing us the most problems at the moment, because we don't know whether we're going to need to replace him or not. Or if we're going to be able to sell him to raise some funds to be able to replace him. So I think when it comes to that, it's a bit of a problem, but I still think we need to. It just shows a real lack of ambition getting Callum Wilson in at this point.
But I'm to be honest, I'm sort of I totally agree with that, but then I agree with what you're saying earlier in terms of if this came in on transfer deadline day, then you can sort of, and it needs to plug a gap.
Yeah.
God forbid, touch wood, but in the US, I don't know, Callum does his leg in or something like that, and then he's almost comes in as an emergency. I think people go, okay, people will hate it, but it'll be like, fair enough. We haven't really got anything else, and we've used our money, as you said, bought in a good midfielder, and a good goalkeeper and things like that. The rest of it, and this was always like just a little extra. But it's the timing of it which just don't understand. I just don't get it.
It screams we're not going to be looking for anyone else in that attacking area.
Possibly.
This is the player that we're bringing in now. There was another post that came out like yesterday saying that like the inside source that originally leaked that it looked like he was likely to sign. They also said, but because of his injury record, we would need another one as well.
Yeah, and that's what I think. We're being linked with Trezeguet from Metz. Obviously, we were looking at Luke. Apparently, we were at the pre-season match for Metz the other day. Watching him. It could be that I don't know. Again, we see the headline and we don't know what's going behind closed doors. It could be that maybe Callum Marshall wants a year out on loan at a top championship club, and we're a bit short in centre forward. We don't know, do we? We just don't know. We don't know.
No, I mean, I always originally thought that Callum Marshall would go out on loan again.
I did, yeah.
The next season, and he would probably go to a championship side, because as much as he did really impress last season, he really did. I still think he needs to, up it that one level. I like the route that Potts has taken, where he was in League One, he was in the Championship. Now it's the right time to see him in the Premier League, and I also think George Murphy is at a point where he can try and prove himself in the Premier League as well. But yeah, with Callum, he's done all right so far in pre-season. He looked really sharp. I liked his goal. I don't know. He just seems like he's just such a small figure. I know he's a lot stronger. I remember him making his debut in the game against Bristol City away in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And I was at that game, and I remember being quite impressed with how good he was, like holding up the ball, and how strong he was, even though his stature was really small. But I still think he needs a lot of, first he needs game time, a lot of game time. And he's not gonna necessarily get that, because we've got Fulkirk, and we'll have Callum Wilson as well, So they're gonna play. They'll easily play 10 games between them this season.
I think Fulkirk's on it, unless he gets injured. I think he's on a tear up this year. I really do. But I think there's we don't know. That's true. We don't know. As you said, if Potter's plan was he wanted or the plan, not Potter's plan. The plan was they wanted Antonio on a short-term loan, or short-term deal as cover. And if Wilson comes in as cover, and I don't know. I mean, one of the blokes in the chat says, Give the geezer a run of games first, and fuck's sake, he's got to get a run of games. That's the trouble. He hasn't had a run of games so far. You all missed it, Meg, now and know how this is going to pan out. We don't. No one does, Jamie. I think, and unfortunately, hindsight's a great thing. I was when we first signed Danny Ings, I thought, you know what, that's a decent signing. It's what we wanted. I think we all. I remember chatting to Gio about it, and he went, you know what, I've always wanted Danny Ings, and when we signed Chicharito, I thought that was a good signing. We bought Fasinella. I thought that was a good signing.
Look,
hindsight's a great thing.
Yeah, I'm sitting here right now and I'm criticising it because I'm predicting how it's going to go, but I want to be wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I want Callum Wilson to come in and not get injured and go and play and score 10 plus goals this season, and for me to eat my words. I want to be wrong about this. I really do, but just going by the past, and you know me, I'm a naturally positive person anyway, and I always say give him a chance. And if he signs, I'll say, right, he's here now, we'll give him a chance. I'm not overly impressed with it, but I hope that I'm wrong. But I think the problem is we know why he's signing, and we're not signing him because he's necessarily the best fit. We're not signing him because Graham Potter wants him. We're not signing him because we think he's going to do brilliantly. We're signing him because of who his agent is. Now, that's why we're signing him. And I think that's what's annoying most people, is that if he's client with someone else, we wouldn't even be considering it, and we wouldn't. And I think that's what a lot of people are most annoyed about. But most people will give him a chance, even though he is a player that most West Ham fans absolutely despise. When he's in a West Ham shirt, we'll give him a chance. We'll support him, and we'll hope that he proves us wrong. But we just fear, because we've seen it before when it comes to strikers fail.
Yeah.
We've seen it before.
If he's again, hindsight is a great thing as well. He might sign a 1-year deal, send the other Callum out on loan. He comes back, all guns blazing. Wilson's gone. That chapter's over with. It could happen like that. It probably won't. He'll probably get injured, and someone said they want to sign him so he can take him to America and get injured. They probably will. He probably will get injured the first few weeks, and everyone gone. Another one. But
Fulcrook have a knock in the have a slight knock that will keep him out of the first game. Right? It's not going to keep him out the whole season. So what we end up doing is we end up signing Antonio. The first game of the season against London, we start with Callum Wilson and Mikel Antonio up top, and they get 4 between them.
Exactly, and their celebration is sitting there doing a podcast. They find Caduce's little stools still behind, and they both sit down doing a podcast in front of each other. Patrick, I'm not more keen on Wilson than Marshall at all. I'm actually very keen on Marshall. Actually, I think Callum's having a great time, and I think he's really. And if you saw my video I did today, I actually said that he's really, out of all the players, he's the one who's really taking the ball by the horns in terms of getting the opportunity. I'm just thinking how it could play out. I always try and join the dots up somewhere, and I think that's what it is. And I think it's inevitable to then give Callum a bit more, because he does need he does need a decent. He had a good season. He had a crap loan at West Brom, waste of time, and then he had a decent season at Huddersfield. Now he needs to go up. He needs to do a Potts and go from League One to Championship, and then come in. So
I think the Premier League Summer Series will be a good test for them and a good indication of how these players, like especially the likes of Potts and Marshall, can perform against Premier League opponents. Because there will be opportunities for them to do so, and that'll give you a better indication. Because like so far we've had Grasshoppers and we've had a behind closed door friendly against Ipswich, and let's be honest here, we didn't see Marshall play in that game. We have no idea how he played. It could have been a very simple tap, and it could have been he only had two touches in the game. We don't know, because we don't know how he played. So we can all get like really excited, but you've got to see him against the higher level of opposition. That's going to really test him, and let's see how he does in those games. Before
Yeah.
we, and hope
Hey.
I hope he does.
Well, also it's up to Potter how he's played. He might not play, he might not play him, but obviously, he's going to go into the games with. Hopefully, I think full crew. Well, I still like us to get another forward, but I don't think we will. But full crew up front, and then as I said, if he tires, I mean, he has played. I mean, when he was in international duty for Germany over the summer, he's played 90-minute games. So I don't question, his ability to be huffing after 60 minutes. I think he's a lot fitter than he was.
Oh yeah, he's lost some weight as well, hasn't he?
He has. He looks. I said he looks.
He looks a lot
lean.
leaner. Yeah.
No,
No,
he
and,
looks lean.
And I think he's a great character as well for Greg. I am falling in love with that man. That's right. Every time you see him, he just puts us. He speaks a lot of sense as well. He speaks a lot of sense. Like you saw that. I think they done a little interview with Talk Sport after the game against Grasshoppers, and he just spoke very sensibly. And I think he's a big part behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm excited about Fulkirk, and I always said last season, when people were saying, "Oh, we signed an injury-prone striker," he wasn't an injury-prone striker when we signed him because he had a few good seasons at Dortmund where he barely had any injuries. Yeah, he did have a period of a couple of seasons where he did have a lot of injuries, but he didn't necessarily leading up to us signing him. So I don't think we signed an injury-prone striker. We just got unlucky that he got an injury, a pretty bad, a couple of pretty bad ones, which was unfortunate. But it looks like he's taking the right steps to try and avoid picking up similar injuries next season by losing the weight and working and running and staying fit. That's all he can do, and hopefully he does well. But yeah, it'd be interesting how Potter does decide to play, because obviously, even if we do keep Marshall's a very different kind of striker to Fulkirk.
Definitely.
So they wouldn't necessarily work in the same system.
Yep, you're totally right. And I think, in all honesty, if you're looking at Marshall, he works better. I mean, not as a target. He's not a target man, and that's what Potter tends to work with. So it tends to be one of the ones behind he would work with. Or if we're chasing a game, we want to play two up front, then you would put him alongside a full crew. I think. Here's a question for you. If we sign him, right, if and the chat as well, if we sign him, would you boo him if he comes on against in the first game of the season at home? Would you boo him?
Callum Wilson, sorry.
Yeah. Because everyone fucking hates the man in the chat.
No,
so
we don't.
If he signed, would you boo him? Would you boo him coming on the pitch?
I've lost you, Russ. You've gone.
I'm still here.
Gone.
I'm still here.
Where's Russ gone?
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here.
I wouldn't boo him.
I'm still here.
Russ has gone for me.
No,
I don't know if he's still there for everybody else.
You've gone. I'm still here.
Having trouble connecting. He's also on unstable internet. Move closer to your router. My router's on. Russ has gone.
I'm still here.
I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah, it's just you.
That's everyone.
It's just
I
you.
wouldn't
Alex.
boo.
It's just you. No, you're not. No,
Where's me? He's still. Am I?
It's just. I'm still here, aren't I? I'm still here, aren't I? I'm still here. He's disappeared, not me. Okay, in the chat, would you boo him? Would you boo him? I am here. I am here. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Right. Let's get him out. We'll get rid of him out. Get him out. Right. Let's have a look. Who would you boo him? No. No. Not if he started. If he came off the bench. No. No. I wouldn't boo him or clap him. Harry Monk Howard would remain impartial. No, we would never boo our own. I'm not going mad. I am still alive. Oh no, yeah, I thought so. Yeah. No. Boo, no. Boo, Potter's pre-match after Wilson gets a hamstring could be rather entertaining. Boo, bad darts. No, that's right. I boo him as a symbol of Sullivan and Saltwater's incompetence. Just has to show me what he wants to wear. No booing. That's turning off your mic. No, yes, you are, Russ. I'm here. What we got? Callum, it's bad. Russ, are you? I am here. Get on with Budgie. They're gonna be on in a minute. As Kante travel with the squad, I believe he has travelled with the squad. Yeah, and some of the others, Airdress is back in the squad. All that good. No, I wouldn't boo him. See, and that's quite interesting, isn't it? Is that quite interesting? Fact is, we're all saying we don't want to sign the man. But if you signed him, we wouldn't boo him. But you didn't want him. I think it's the same. We haven't lost Russ. I'm still there. I'm actually watching myself on the telly, so I know I'm still here. I can see myself. Booing isn't logical. It isn't logical. I would. What's that one? I would frown. We don't boo the shirt. You're right. He's done nothing wrong. He's just a bloke coming on for a job. Boo Sullivan for ruining the club. All right, let's see. Let's see. It was you, it weren't me.
No, I've just looked back on the video. He's gone. You went on my screen.
It's like trying to FaceTime my mother-in-law. She's like, "Hello, are you there? I'm here. I'm watching myself. I know I'm here."
Your screen went completely black on my phone, and I was like, "Oh, where's he gone?" And then I've looked it back on the iPad, and it's like I'm going, "Where you gone?" And you're going, "I'm here. I'm saying, "Yeah, I can't see you."
The best response we've had is someone would frown if Callum Wilson came on. They would frown.
Frown.
Yeah. Clean slate when he pulls on the shirt.
I wouldn't boo our own player. If he is our player, I will support him. I wouldn't boo him. I'd give him. I'd show him support. I would.
It's not a quandary because I think the likelihood is he will sign for us, and it's for me. It's where it finishes, where we finish in the summer. You know, in terms of the squad, I said it is thin in terms of first team ready players.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of kids, which is great, which is what we all wanted. We all wanted the academy, and that's great. But I don't think these kids are ready, and I don't think, as I said, I'm a big fan, a big advocate of Callum Marshall, but I personally, my personal opinion, don't think he's ready for that step up. I think he's great to come on and play that Danny Ings role, 10, 15 minutes here, but is it going to improve? But would I rather him go out on loan and get 90 minutes on his back and then come back next year and be ready to compete for that position? That's what I think I'd rather than him. It's the same thing with Lewis Orford. Lewis Orford could be on the bench quite off every game, but that's not going to help him. He needs to go out on loan. He needs to do a Freddie Potts.
I agree. I agree it with Orford, and I agree it with Marshall. I think Marshall does have the potential to go out and smash it in the championship, and then come back and play. I think it's especially hard for strikers as well to really break into a first team. How many strikers do you see make like an impact in the first team at such a young age? That it usually takes them a little bit. Use Harry Kane for example. He didn't really come into that Tottenham side until he was about 22 years old, I think it was, because he kept on going out on loan. And then he started playing a season where he was just appearing in the Europa League, but he didn't really break into the first team in the Premier League until he was 22 years old. And I think you get that with a lot of strikers, especially in the Premier League. In the lower leagues, they obviously get more opportunities, and in Europe they do. But in the Premier League, you can't name many strikers that are given full first team opportunities a lot. They usually have to go out on loan.
Yeah, I mean it's a similar thing with goalkeepers.
Yeah,
you don't in Italy, France, they're happy to give goalkeeper debuts, for youngsters and stuff, but it never seems to happen. And actually, to be honest, even for strikers, I mean, as I said, we linked to Idrissa Gueye. He's just turned 18. And last year was his first season in Mets properly. Lewis Stassin, he's 20 odd as well.
Yeah.
It is. I think the striker, you're probably right, and to be honest, it's epidemic of the Premier League in my opinion. But I think you're right. It's that sort of. I mean, look at someone like Freddie Potts. Freddie Potts is 22 now.
Yeah.
You think of the impact that Declan Rice has had, and how old was Declan Rice? When he broke in, was he 18, 19, breaking into the West Ham first team?
He was 18 or 19.
Yeah, so you've got to think, Deck was a.
Is Potts 22 now? I think
I'm pretty
20.
sure he might. I'm pretty sure he's 21 or 22.
I think he's more. I think he's just turned 21, isn't he?
Let's have a look, Freddie Potts. I'm pretty sure, but even that at 8 years, he's 21. He'll be 22 in September.
In September.
Yeah.
Right.
He has to. And it's taken him 2 seasons really, or to get to the pot where he is ready to be part of that first team squad.
It's different players.
Yeah,
they come in at different ages. They peak at different ages. Like you'll get. I mean, you look at players like Jamie Vardy, for example. Didn't really show a huge amount in these younger years, but later on showed how brilliant he was as a striker. You have other players like that. Sometimes some don't appear until 22, 23. Some appear at 18, 19, where you see the best of them. So even like you look at Yorkeles, who's going to Arsenal. He was at Coventry and looked a promising striker. Then went to Sporting and is absolutely smashing it up. And now he's 27, 28, and he's moving to Arsenal. He was a little bit of a late bloomer as well. So. And that's another striker as well. As a late bloomer when it comes to strikers. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Potts. I think Potts is. I'm more excited about Potts than I think any of the other academy players. Personally, I just.
Well, I think for me, Potts has got a genuine chance of playing consistently in the first team. Ken's put, isn't it time we put a punt on Marshall, Orford, or Potts? I mean, Potts definitely. I think, as I said, I think Lewis is only 18, and that midfield is stacked with players we can't get rid of at the moment, who are probably more experienced. Now, for me, I've said this a million times. Technical ability, Lewis is miles ahead of likes of Souček and Guerrero in terms of what he can do with a ball. But it's that physicality as well from a midfield position. You need that. And the only way you really get that is playing men's football. He could stay in the 21s. He's outgrown the 21s now. He's outgrown that.
He needs to be playing men's first team football.
Yeah.
And on a regular basis.
And he'll play a decent.
I reckon there'll definitely be offers from the Championship. He'll get a Championship move. I've got no doubt about that.
I think he'll go. I think it'll be someone like Norwich, because obviously Will Manning's gone from Bristol City to Norwich, and obviously he had George last year, former West Ham coach as well, safe pair of hands. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at Norwich. I mean, I was chatting to Lewis's dad about a month or so ago, and he thinks that's the best route for him in terms of getting that. Because I think obviously he's travelled out there, he's played. Potter knows what he's all about. Clearly he likes him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be travelling out there with him. Obviously a few of them played. Actually, a few of the guys who've travelled to the US played last night in a Northampton Town game. So like Airdris and stuff. So the connection between the first team and the academy has never been stronger, in my opinion. In terms of the communication, and so they all know all about it. And as I called it, the Potts blueprint. That's what you need to apply. And the club, you know who the club are backing from the academy. Lewis has got a new 5-year deal. Ollie Scars has got a 5-year deal. Finn Herrick's got a 5-year new deal. I don't think George Earthy signed a new deal yet, but I think there's a new one going to be available to him. They're the ones, and Freddie Potts he's got a deal to 2029. So those 5 are guys that they are putting the weight behind. So I wouldn't. So it's about we're off. I mean, this deal we're talking about today, is Callum Marshall deal, is a short-term deal. It's not nothing long-term. The long-term is to get the likes of Marshall, Orford, Potts into the first team because fucking Declan Rice, we sold him for 100 million quid. That's 100 million pounds worth of profit. You know, what I mean, this is how you make your money, not by going to Barclays and getting another loan for 145 million quid or whatever. It's about getting these guys into the first team, get them desirable, and maybe sell them occasionally at the top price.
Yeah,
that's how you make your money.
Yeah, I mean that's what Chelsea. That's what Chelsea have become absolutely brilliant at, isn't it? I mean they do it. Even Man United are doing it now. You know, likes of Rashford and Garnacho. You know, they're selling them, making pure profit. So yeah, it is the way to make money. It definitely is. Hopefully, you would hope that if they're good enough that they stay at West Ham, but at the same time, you have got to think of like a business point of view occasionally.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Grady Diangana.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
did we make like 20 million?
Yeah, I mean, 20 million now is decent money. That was fucking 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years, something like that. 9 years, 6, I don't know, a while ago.
Yeah.
That was good money, but you know, that was fucking good money. You know, and the when they, you know, obviously people like Gideon Godot has gone out on loan to Luton. If that's successful, that we made a permanent deal. I don't think there was really a place for Gideon in the side, and you know, they're not stupid. They know the ones who are going to be making it, and that they, you know, Damien's put Preston Fearon in the under 18s, moving up to 21s. He is going to be an exceptional midfield player, exceptional, like a David Silva type player. He is fucking brilliant. And now now because Lewis can go out on loan, Preston then gets more games into 21s. It's how it should work. It's how it should work.
I definitely want to get to under 21 games this season. Like that's
There's no excuse for you, Alex. You say down the road, and you're a season ticket holder. It's free.
Yes.
No excuse.
No family. Always family. But
bring the kids along. Any news on Murphy's injury? Yeah, he's not traveling to the US. He'll be out for another couple of weeks. Did Michael Forbes get on the plane? I don't think he did. I don't think Forbes got on the plane. We're gonna have to go and meet because what's name's gonna be on.
I've got
go on, you go.
I think my eldest is going to get a bed in a minute, so I need to make sure she goes.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
School holidays now.
School holidays, isn't it? You're such a soft touch. Bye. See you later. Hate to disagree with you, but saying bye, Wilson. They are. But for me, Wilson, Marshall is not a replacement for Füllkrug, a like-for-like replacement. That's what I'm saying. And I think, yes, I can give Callum 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, half an hour here, a cup game there. But I really think for the benefit of us next year, the year after that, giving him reps, first team reps, continual 90 minutes at Bristol City, at Norwich, at Portsmouth, we'll see a better return on that player. Personally. Right, a few more than we could go. Sky Sports says with an extra 12 months, very good. Right. Anyways, a few more questions here. Are you doing Fantasy Football League? Yes, we will be. We'll probably start that next week. We will also next week be talking about our new channel sponsor, which I think you guys are going to really love. Especially anyone with a dog. Give Marshall a chance to develop a bit more, and we'll have another defo. That's my case in point, Rich. The short-term strategy would be to keep him in the bet and give him time and give him 10 minutes here. We need him there. I don't think he's ready yet. I think he's a good player, and I think he will be a good player. He will score goals wherever he goes. For me, this is exactly my point. Not 12-year gap. Sorry, not 12-year gap. Sorry, 12-month gap. But what I'm saying is we've got the next generation coming through. We've got Daniel Cummins. We've got Josh Landers as well. We've got Josh Ajala. We've got Callum Marshall. And I just think these guys need time to develop. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, no problem. Get rid of reserves. They get knocked about by pros coming back off injury. And they're hardened. They're not hardened playing in 21 football after a while. And you're right. Patrick is very small money, nothing groundbreaking. He's also quite little as well. Send Marshall out on loan because we need him in Chelsea next season. There you go. He'll all be ready to work. Thank you for smashing the like button. Will we get money? Yeah, I think we've got a couple. I think we got about. Did we get? I want to say a couple of million quid. I think we got a couple of million quid from him. I think so. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated as always. I appreciate, it's always fun talking about loads of all this stuff, and we do it occasionally. We come on, even Marshall goes out on loan, they should still sell. Well, it was quite interesting. If you look at the West Ham squad on the website, he's down within the first team, same as I think Kante's in that. No, he's not. He's 21's coming. The 145 loan do overdraft. Well, yeah, it's not. We know it's not. And for me, as I said, if this came in at the end of the transfer window, this smacks of everything we spoke about when we had this, when Josh Brownhill was going to be signing for us apparently, and we all went crazy. We all did live streams. There was loads of tweets and people, and now we seem to be rinse and repeat with Callum Wilson. Wouldn't it be great to have a show on a great player we just bought? It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Exactly. We are missing a whole generation at striker. That's what I mean. We haven't got one now. We've got 3, 4, in my opinion, who could do something in a few years' time or 18 months' time. Marshall, I think, give him a year out, come back. I still don't even say necessarily that he'll come in and hit the ground running next season, but he will be more in the discussion potentially. If he goes to Norwich and scores 20 goals next season, then you've got to be in that, and maybe helps Norwich go up. Then you've got to be in that conversation with him coming back to West Ham. Then you've got, as you said, Josh Ajala, good player. He needs then time out on loan as well. Then we've got Daniel Cummings. We've got Josh Landers as well. 4 very good strikers. Hope you're right about us going for the Colombian or Luis midfield. The Colombian, I don't think. The Colombian's going to go to Benfica. Luis, we'll have to wait and see. Why are we getting loans when they are, God knows how many billionaires at the club? What's the point if they don't use their money? Because they don't use their money, lads. That you've actually you've answered the question. You've answered your answer in the point there. They don't want to use their money, and unfortunately, the reason why most rich people are rich is because they don't spend money. And it seems that's the case with our owners. And that's why they can get bank loans, they can get this and get that to pay and to sustain the club. And I think that's why, for me, you need to be investing in the academy. You need to be bringing academy through, because that's the only way naturally you're going to make any significant profit. Although we did, as I said, we made our most profit on a player we bought and sold in Kudus than we ever have. He's our most profitable signing in terms of bought and sold straight out. Anyway, let me check. Is Budgie on yet? Let me see. Is Budgie on yet? Yes, right. I'm leaving, guys. Thanks very much. Yeah, exactly. Scored that trick against us, isn't he? After we let him go. Stay here. Go and watch Budgie and Kieran and do Shark Watch. I'll see you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.